Hey, wonderful souls. Welcome back to another inspiring talk on mind-blowing motive, where we believe that success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things the right way. You see, in today's fast-paced world, everyone's rushing, multitasking, and stretching themselves too thin. But here's the truth. Being busy doesn't always mean being productive. Sometimes it's the quiet achievers who move mountains, not by doing more, but by doing less and doing it better. Think about that one person at work or school who always seems calm, focused, and yet achieves remarkable results. They're not hustling 18 hours a day. They're just laser-focused on what truly matters. That's the magic we'll uncover today. This video isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about slowing down to speed up, cutting out the noise, and mastering the art of focus. You'll hear practical tips that will help you declutter your routine, sharpen your concentration, and find excellence in fewer things. So, ask yourself, are you spreading your energy across too many tasks? Or are you channeling it into what really makes a difference? By the end of this session, you'll see why doing less isn't laziness. It's strategy, it's clarity, it's mastery. Let's begin the journey toward a simpler, sharper, and more successful you. One mindful step at a time. Tip 1. Focus on what truly matters. You know, the real secret behind doing less but achieving more lies in understanding what truly matters. Every day, people wake up and dive straight into a flood of tasks, checking emails, replying to messages, scrolling through endless updates, and juggling multiple priorities. Yet, when the day ends, many realize they've been busy all day but achieved nothing meaningful. There was a man named Daniel who worked in a creative agency. He was known for being the first one to arrive and the last one to leave. His desk was always piled with papers, ideas, and unfinished projects. From the outside, Daniel looked like a hard-working hero, but deep down, he was frustrated. Despite his long hours, promotions always slipped past him. His boss once said something that changed his life forever. "Daniel, you're doing a lot of things, but none of them perfectly." That single sentence hit him hard. He realized he had been spreading his energy too thin, trying to impress everyone, take every task, and be everywhere. The next morning, Daniel made one small change. He picked 3 main tasks for the day. Just 3 things that really mattered. He promised himself he wouldn't move to anything else until those were done. And guess what? His focus sharpened, his stress reduced, and his results skyrocketed. Within a few months, Daniel became one of the top performers in his team. That's the power of focusing on less but doing it better. When you give your full attention to fewer tasks, you unlock your true potential. It's like sunlight. When spread wide, it just warms. But when focused through a magnifying glass, it can ignite fire. Ask yourself, what are the few things that will truly move your life or work forward? Maybe it's finishing that one important project. Maybe it's improving a key skill. Or maybe it's spending quality time with family instead of mindlessly scrolling your phone. Whatever it is, identify it and let everything else take the back seat. One powerful habit you can build is the rule of 3. Each morning, write down the 3 most important things you must accomplish that day. Not 30, not 10, just 3. These should be tasks that create real impact, not the ones that only look productive. For example, replying to every message might make you feel busy, but finishing a key report or making a crucial decision brings real progress. When you focus on what matters most, you not only achieve more, but also feel more satisfied at the end of the day. Here's something interesting. High achievers, athletes, and top professionals all follow this same mindset. They don't waste energy on everything. They master the few things that make the biggest difference. A musician doesn't learn every instrument, they perfect one. A chef doesn't cook every dish, they specialize in a few signature recipes. That's why they stand out. Doing less doesn't mean you're lazy or unambitious. It means you respect your time and energy enough to invest them wisely. Remember, every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. So, protect your focus. Guard it like your most valuable asset, because it truly is. If you ever feel guilty for saying no to too many things, remind yourself of this simple truth. You can do anything, but not everything. Success isn't about how many plates you spin. It's about how perfectly you balance the few that really count. So, as you move forward, take a deep breath and simplify. Cut out what drains you. Prioritize what inspires you. You'll be amazed at how much lighter, clearer, and more productive life becomes when you stop trying to do it all and start doing less, but better. Tip 2. Learn to say no gracefully. Saying no can be one of the hardest things in the world. Most people fear it. They don't want to disappoint others, create conflict, or appear selfish. So they end up saying yes to everything. New tasks, extra favors, unnecessary meetings, even things they don't really want to do. And before they know it, they're drowning in obligations that drain their energy and time. Let's talk about Mia, a young marketing executive. She was known for being polite and helpful. Whenever someone needed assistance, Mia was the first to raise her hand. "Can you help me with this presentation?" "Yes." "Can you attend this extra meeting?" "Sure." "Can you take on this new client?" "Of course." Her kindness and enthusiasm were admired, but slowly she started feeling exhausted. She was skipping her breaks, working late nights, and losing focus on her main projects. One day, her manager called her in and said gently, "Mia, your heart is in the right place, but your energy is in the wrong direction. You're doing so much for others that you've forgotten what you're here to do." Those words hit her deeply. That night, she sat down and realized she had become a people pleaser. Not out of love, but out of fear of rejection. From the next week, Mia began to change. She decided to stop agreeing automatically. When someone asked for help, she started saying, "Let me check my schedule first." Sometimes she said yes. Sometimes she politely said no. She explained that she wanted to give her best to fewer projects rather than do too many half-heartedly. Surprisingly, people respected her even more for it. Here's what Mia discovered. Saying no doesn't make you rude, it makes you focused. It shows that you respect your time and value quality over quantity. You see, every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're actually saying no to something important. Your rest, your passion, your family, or your goals. That's why successful people are not afraid to decline things that don't align with their priorities. They know that protecting their focus is more valuable than pleasing everyone. Now, you don't have to be harsh or cold when saying no. There's a graceful way to do it. For example, Instead of bluntly saying, "I can't do it," try, "I'd love to help, but my schedule is full right now." Or, "That sounds interesting, but I'm focusing on another project at the moment." These kinds of responses show politeness and professionalism, yet still draw a boundary. Here's a truth we often forget. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you're overcommitted, you lose your spark, creativity, and focus. You start doing everything halfway instead of doing one thing with full excellence. And excellence never comes from overload. It comes from clarity and selective effort. So next time someone hands you a new task or invitation, pause before responding. Ask yourself, is this aligned with my main goals? Will this bring me closer to what truly matters? If the answer is no, politely decline and move on. The world won't fall apart, and you'll gain back precious time and peace of mind. Remember, the power of doing less but better begins with choosing wisely. And wise choices often mean having the courage to say no, because every no you give creates space for a bigger, better yes. A yes to your dreams, your purpose, and your growth. It's not selfish to protect your time. It's smart. People may not always understand it, but with time, they'll respect your boundaries when they see the excellence in your focused work. So be like Mia, kind, professional, and strong enough to know that saying no is not rejection. It's redirection. It's the first step toward mastering your energy and doing less, but doing it far better. Tip 3. Master the power of deep work. If you really want to do less but do it better, you need to understand something powerful, the art of deep work. This is when you give your full, undivided attention to a single important task, free from distractions, interruptions, and multitasking. It's the opposite of shallow work, the kind that keeps you busy but never really moves you forward. Let's look at an example. There was a software engineer named Chris who worked for a tech company. He was intelligent and talented, but he struggled to meet deadlines. He often found himself switching between emails, social media, and side projects, thinking he was multitasking efficiently. But in reality, his attention was scattered. Every time he switched from one task to another, it took him several minutes to refocus. At the end of the day, he felt drained yet unfulfilled, realizing he hadn't made real progress on his most critical work. One day, his mentor suggested something simple but life-changing. Block out 2 hours a day for deep, uninterrupted work. No phone, no messages, no distractions. Just pure focus on his most important project. Chris was skeptical at first, but he gave it a try. He turned off notifications, closed unnecessary tabs, and told his team not to disturb him during those hours. The first few days felt tough. His mind kept craving distractions. But as he kept practicing, something incredible happened. His concentration deepened. His ideas became clearer. The same task that once took him 6 hours now took only 2. Within weeks, his productivity doubled, and his stress level dropped. That's the magic of deep work. When you fully focus, your brain enters a state of flow, where creativity, clarity, and efficiency merge. You stop wasting mental energy on switching between tasks, and your work quality skyrockets. In today's world of constant notifications and digital noise, deep work has become a superpower. Most people live in a loop of shallow activities, checking phones every few minutes, replying instantly to every message, or juggling too many tasks. They mistake busyness for effectiveness. But real excellence comes from immersion. when you give one thing your complete attention. So how can you develop this skill? Start by setting a specific time each day for deep work. It could be early morning when your mind is fresh, or late evening when things are quiet. Choose a time that suits your rhythm. Then, remove distractions. Put your phone on silent mode or in another room. Close all unnecessary apps. Let people around you know that you're in focus mode. You might also find it helpful to create a clear ritual, like making a cup of coffee, wearing noise-canceling headphones, or sitting in a particular spot every time you begin deep work. This trains your brain to enter focus mode faster. Another key part of deep work is working in blocks, say 60 to 90 minutes at a time, followed by a short break. This keeps your mind sharp without burning out. During these focus blocks, you give everything you have to one meaningful task: writing, designing, studying, solving a problem, or learning something new. Here's a truth many people ignore. Multitasking is a myth. You can't truly focus on multiple things at once. Your brain just switches rapidly between them, wasting time and energy. That's why people who constantly multitask often feel exhausted but unproductive. When you train yourself to work deeply, you stand out. Because while most people are busy reacting, you're busy creating. While they chase distractions, you build excellence. Doing less but better starts with mastering your focus. If you can give your best attention to fewer things, you'll achieve results that multitaskers can only dream of. So, take a look at your daily routine. How often are you really present with what you're doing? How much time do you spend in deep focus, without checking your phone, replying to messages, or browsing aimlessly? Try this challenge. For the next week, dedicate just 2 hours a day to deep work on something important. Protect that time fiercely. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes, not just in your productivity, but in your peace of mind. Because in the end, success doesn't belong to the busiest people. It belongs to the most focused ones. And deep work is your bridge from ordinary results to extraordinary success. Tip 4. Simplify your routine to amplify your results. There's a beautiful truth about life. Simplicity creates space for greatness. When your daily routine is cluttered with too many choices, too many plans, and too many distractions, your mind becomes foggy. But when you simplify, you free your energy to focus on what truly matters. Doing less, but doing it better starts right here, by creating a simpler, smarter routine. Let's talk about someone named Rachel. She was a talented designer, full of creativity and passion, but her days felt chaotic. She would wake up late, rush through breakfast, check her phone, and jump straight into work without a clear plan. Her desk was messy, her schedule unorganized, and her mind constantly bouncing from one thing to another. She thought she was being flexible and spontaneous, but the truth was, her energy was scattered. One morning, after missing another deadline, Rachel sat down and asked herself, "Why do I always feel so overwhelmed even when I love what I do?" The answer came quietly. She was doing too much without a system. So she decided to make a change. She began by simplifying her routine. Every night she wrote down 3 priorities for the next day. She cleaned her desk, organized her workspace, and started each morning with a calm 10-minute ritual. Just stretching, deep breathing, and sipping her coffee in peace. She stopped checking her phone first thing in the morning and replaced that habit with journaling a few thoughts. Within weeks, Her focus sharpened, her creativity bloomed, and her stress faded. She was no longer reacting to her day, she was leading it. That's the beauty of simplicity. When your routine is cluttered, your brain burns energy making small, unnecessary decisions. What to do first, what to wear, what to eat, when to start. This constant decision fatigue drains you before you even reach your real work. But when you simplify your routine, you remove friction. Your mind becomes clearer, and your actions become smoother. Take a look at the world's most successful people. Many of them follow simple, consistent routines. They eat similar meals, wear similar clothes, and start their day in predictable ways. Why? Because they don't waste mental energy on small choices. They save that energy for what really matters: creating, solving, building, growing. You can do the same. Start by decluttering your mornings. Create a simple start. Wake up at a fixed time, make your bed, hydrate, and spend a few minutes planning your top 3 priorities. Keep your workspace clean and your environment minimal. When your space is calm, your mind is too. Also, simplify your digital life. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Unsubscribe from emails you never read. Keep only the apps that truly serve your goals. Every digital distraction you remove gives you back a little bit of your focus and peace. Simplifying your routine doesn't mean living a boring life. It means creating rhythm and order so that creativity and productivity can flow naturally. When you know what comes next, you waste less time thinking and more time doing. Another powerful thing Rachel learned was to keep buffer time between tasks. Instead of jumping from one job to another, she gave herself 5 to 10 minutes to breathe, walk around, or simply reset her thoughts. This small change helped her stay energized all day. You can try it too. After finishing one task, take a short mental break before starting the next. That small pause helps your brain recover and stay sharp. Remember, complexity is often the enemy of progress. The more complicated your life becomes, the harder it is to move forward smoothly. But when you simplify your schedule, your environment, and your priorities, you amplify your results. So ask yourself, what are the things in your routine that add no real value? What habits, possessions, or distractions are making your day heavier instead of lighter? Start letting them go, one by one. You'll notice something amazing. Once you simplify, everything feels lighter. You'll think clearer, work faster, and feel more in control. Because the truth is, simplicity doesn't take away from your success. It multiplies it. Do less, simplify more, and soon you'll find that your life feels calmer, your results sharper, and your joy stronger than ever before. Tip 5. Prioritize quality over quantity. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop measuring your success by how much you do and start measuring it by how well you do it. Most people chase quantity. They want more projects, more clients, more followers, more achievements. But in the end, it's not the number of things you do that defines you. It's the quality of what you deliver. Doing less, but doing it better, means giving your best energy to fewer things and turning them into masterpieces. Let's meet David, a freelance photographer who used to take on every job that came his way. Weddings, birthdays, commercials, you name it, he shot it. His schedule was packed, his income was decent, but his passion was fading. He realized he was constantly rushing, editing late nights, skipping meals, and barely enjoying his craft. One day, during a small photo session with a musician, David took extra time to adjust the lighting, capture emotion, and focus on every small detail. When the photos were published, they went viral in the local media. The difference wasn't the number of shots. It was the depth of his attention. That experience opened David's eyes. He decided to take fewer projects, only the ones that aligned with his vision and allowed him to pour his creativity into every frame. Within a year, his reputation soared. Clients started coming to him not because he was fast, but because his work stood out. That's what prioritizing quality looks like. It's not about working more hours. It's about caring more deeply about what you do. When you focus on doing fewer things with excellence, people notice. The world always remembers those who put their soul into their work. Here's something to think about. If you try to master everything, you'll end up average at most things. But if you dedicate your heart to a few things, you'll become exceptional. Excellence doesn't come from speed. It comes from patience, precision, and passion. Think of a chef who makes the same signature dish every day, refining it over and over until it becomes unforgettable. Or an athlete who trains in one skill for years until it becomes effortless. The world calls it talent, but in reality, it's the result of focusing on quality over quantity. To practice this mindset, start by reviewing your commitments. Which of them truly deserve your best energy? Which ones are you doing just to stay busy? Cut out the noise. Keep the few that matter most, and do them so well that they leave a mark. Another way to improve quality is by slowing down your process. We often rush through tasks just to check them off the list, but greatness lives in the details. Whether you're writing, designing, teaching, or planning, take time to review, refine, and polish. Don't settle for good enough. Ask yourself, is this the best I can do right now? Quality also means consistency. Doing one thing perfectly once isn't enough. True mastery is about doing it well again and again. Like a musician who practices scales daily or a writer who revises their drafts, your excellence grows through repetition. There's a deep sense of pride and fulfillment that comes when you deliver high-quality work. It builds your confidence, strengthens your reputation, and earns lasting respect. People may forget how fast you finished something, but they'll never forget how well you did it. So next time you find yourself rushing to take on more, pause. Ask yourself, am I chasing quantity or building quality? When you choose quality, you build a legacy. When you choose quantity, you build exhaustion. The choice is yours. Remember, success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing a few things exceptionally well. Like David, you don't need to flood the world with your work. You just need to create something so genuine, so refined, that it speaks louder than 1,000 rushed attempts. So, slow down. Care more. Focus on quality. Because when you give your best to less, the results speak louder than numbers ever could. Tip 6. Take strategic breaks to recharge your mind. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that you have to keep working non-stop to achieve great things. Many people think rest is a waste of time, but in reality, rest is fuel. It's the hidden power that helps you do less, but do it far better. When your mind is tired, your focus weakens, your creativity drops, and mistakes multiply. But when you give yourself time to recharge, you come back sharper, stronger, and more inspired than before. Let's talk about Ethan, a software developer who worked in a busy startup. His work required deep thinking and long hours of coding. At first, he was passionate and driven, but soon, the constant pressure caught up with him. He started skipping breaks, eating at his desk, and staying up late to meet deadlines. For a while, it seemed like he was handling it, until his body and mind said, "Enough." He began making small errors, losing focus, and feeling drained all the time. One day, his manager noticed the change and gave him a simple challenge. "Ethan, for 1 week, I want you to take 2 real breaks every day. No screens, no coding, just step away and reset." Ethan reluctantly agreed. At first, he felt guilty, like he was wasting time. But by the 3rd day, he started noticing a difference. After each break, his thoughts felt clearer. He solved problems faster. His code improved. He was working fewer hours but producing better results. That's when he learned something life-changing. Productivity isn't about working more. It's about working with energy. Your brain isn't a machine that can run endlessly. It's like a muscle. It grows through cycles of effort and recovery. Without rest, your mental performance declines, no matter how determined you are. Taking breaks doesn't slow you down. It resets your focus and renews your creativity. So, how can you take strategic breaks that actually help? The key is intentional rest, short pauses that recharge your energy instead of draining it. Start with the Pomodoro technique. Work for 50 minutes and take a 10-minute break. During those breaks, move your body, stretch, take a walk, or simply look outside. Avoid jumping onto social media. That's not a real break. It just overstimulates your mind. Instead, give your brain silence, nature, or light physical movement. Another great habit is taking a longer break after a few hours of deep work. Step away from your workspace completely. Eat mindfully, listen to calming music, or even take a power nap if needed. When you return, you'll find that your mind feels refreshed, and tasks that seem difficult suddenly feel easier. Think about professional athletes. They don't train 24 hours a day. They train hard, then rest hard, because they understand that recovery is part of progress. The same applies to your mental performance. If you want excellence, you need to balance effort with renewal. Here's something you might not realize. Some of your best ideas come after you step away from work. How many times have you had a breakthrough thought while taking a shower, going for a walk, or lying in bed? That's your subconscious mind working quietly in the background. It needs those quiet moments to connect ideas and find creative solutions. So, instead of pushing harder when you feel stuck, do the opposite. Pause. Take a breath, step outside, drink some water, or talk to someone. When you return, you'll see things from a clearer, smarter perspective. Remember, burnout doesn't happen because you work hard. It happens because you never rest. The most successful people in the world understand the value of strategic recovery. They schedule breaks, vacations, and time off, not as luxuries, but as necessities. If you want to do less but do it better, start treating rest as part of your work. Make it a habit to protect your energy the same way you protect your deadlines. Because your mind is your greatest tool. And like any powerful instrument, it needs care and balance. So, give yourself permission to pause. You're not being lazy, you're being wise. When you rest, you recharge your power to create, focus, and perform. And that's how you do less, but do it better. Not by burning out, but by staying brilliant. Tip 7. Eliminate distractions and protect your focus. If there's one silent killer of excellence in today's world, it's distraction. We live in an age where our attention is constantly under attack. Notifications buzzing, emails popping, messages pinging, and endless content competing for our minds. The truth is, no one can do great work when their focus is constantly shattered. Doing less but doing it better means mastering the art of protecting your focus like it's gold, because it truly is. Let me tell you about Olivia, a young writer who dreamed of publishing her first novel. She was talented, creative, and passionate, but she couldn't finish her work. Every time she sat down to write, her phone buzzed, or she'd open social media just for a minute, which often turned into an hour. Days turned into weeks, and her progress stalled. One afternoon, her mentor visited her. He looked around her workspace, her laptop open with 10 tabs, her phone lighting up with notifications, and her TV playing softly in the background. He smiled and said, "Olivia, you're not struggling with writing. You're struggling with focus." That one sentence changed everything. The next day, Olivia made a bold decision. She turned off all her notifications, unplugged her TV, and started writing in complete silence for 2 hours every morning. The first few days were uncomfortable. Her fingers itched to check her phone, and her mind kept wandering. But slowly, her focus deepened. Words began to flow. Ideas started connecting. Within 6 months, she finished her book, something she had been trying to do for 3 years. That's the power of eliminating distractions. When you remove the noise, your brilliance finally gets room to shine. Here's something many people don't realize. Every time you get distracted, it takes your brain around 20 minutes to regain deep focus. So, even small interruptions, a message, a quick glance at your phone, can drain huge amounts of productive energy throughout the day. Imagine trying to run a marathon but stopping every 5 minutes. You'd never reach your full stride. The same happens with your mind. To protect your focus, start by identifying your main distractions. Is it your phone, social media, random conversations, unnecessary meetings? Once you know them, take action. Turn off non-essential notifications, use Do Not Disturb mode during work, and set clear boundaries with others. You can also create focus zones, specific times or places where you do your most important work without interruption. For example, you could decide that from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., you're completely unavailable except for emergencies. During that time, no phone, no social media, no multitasking, just you and your task. Many successful people even use apps that block distracting websites for certain hours. This might sound extreme, but it's not. It's discipline. Because every time you control your attention, you strengthen your ability to perform at a higher level. Another helpful trick is to design your environment for focus. Clean your desk. Keep only what you need. A messy space often leads to a messy mind. Play calm background music if it helps you concentrate, or work in silence if that feels better. Make your surroundings an ally, not a distraction. And remember, not all distractions come from the outside. Some come from within. Thoughts like, "I'll just check that message," or "let me grab a snack first," are tiny self-distractions that quietly sabotage your flow. Train yourself to recognize and resist them. Here's a great exercise. Before you begin any task, take a moment to remind yourself why it matters. When your purpose is clear, distractions lose their power. The stronger your why, the stronger your focus becomes. It's not about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about choosing moments of undisturbed focus that allow you to create something meaningful. After all, the world's best inventions, novels, and masterpieces were created in silence, not noise. When you protect your focus, you protect your future. You'll realize you don't need to work longer, you just need to work cleaner. 1 hour of pure, focused effort can be worth more than 5 hours of distracted busyness. So, follow Olivia's example. Silence the noise. Close the extra tabs. Keep your attention where it truly belongs, on your goals, your growth, and your craft. Because when your focus is pure, even small efforts create extraordinary results. That's the essence of doing less but doing it better, not by working harder, but by working with undivided attention. Tip 8. Focus on continuous improvement, not perfection. Chasing perfection is one of the biggest traps that silently drains energy and slows progress. Many people believe that if a task isn't flawless, it's not worth doing. But the truth is, perfection is often an illusion. It delays progress, increases stress, and distracts you from focusing on what really matters. Doing less but doing it better isn't about making everything perfect. It's about building a habit of continuous improvement. Take Emily, for instance. She worked as a designer in a mid-sized marketing firm and had just been assigned a branding project for a key client. The client wanted a fresh, creative logo, and Emily was determined to make it flawless. She spent days tweaking minute details, adjusting color shades by a fraction, changing font sizes repeatedly, and rearranging elements over and over. She wanted the logo to be perfect before presenting it. As the days passed, Emily grew increasingly stressed. She skipped meals, stayed late, and constantly questioned her choices. Her manager noticed her frustration and sat down with her. "Emily," he said gently, "you're learning and growing every day. Don't wait for perfection to take action. Deliver solid work now, then refine it as you go. Improvement is a journey, not a final destination." Those words shifted Emily's perspective. The next day, she finalized the logo to a high standard and presented it. The client loved it. What Emily realized afterward was even more important. Perfection isn't necessary to make an impact. What matters is taking action, learning from feedback, and refining your skills over time. From that point on, Emily applied the same principle to every project. Instead of overthinking every minor detail, she focused on completing work to a high standard, then improved gradually. Each project became better than the last, her confidence grew, and her efficiency skyrocketed. Over time, she gained recognition for her creativity and reliability, all because she stopped chasing an impossible, perfect outcome and started committing to steady improvement. This is the lesson for all of us. Mastery doesn't happen in one flawless attempt. It comes from reflection, learning from mistakes, and consistent effort. Doing less allows you to focus on fewer tasks, and focusing on continuous improvement ensures those few things get better and better every time. So, instead of obsessing over perfection, aim for progress. Deliver your best now, learn from the results, and enhance your work step by step. Each improvement, no matter how small, compounds over time. This mindset frees your energy, reduces stress, and helps you produce lasting, high-quality results. Exactly what doing less, but doing it better, is all about. Final words. Life often teaches us that doing more doesn't always mean achieving more. The people who truly succeed are the ones who focus their energy on fewer things, give their best to what truly matters, and keep improving steadily. As you've seen in these 8 tips, it's not about working endlessly or chasing perfection. It's about focus, rest, thoughtful choices, and consistent growth. When you say no to distractions, protect your attention, simplify your routine, and prioritize quality over quantity, you create space for your brilliance to shine. Remember, doing less but doing it better is not a shortcut. It's a smarter, sustainable path to real success. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how your life transforms. If you enjoyed these tips, make sure to subscribe to Mind-Blowing Motive, where we share motivational and practical strategies to help you grow, stay focused, and reach your full potential. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to make your life truly extraordinary.